It's time for another installment of The Basics, and I want to talk about one of the more confusing parts of the Star Trek card game, and that would be the tactic cards. Now, for those of you who may not remember, they came out in 1999 in the Blaze of Glory expansion, and they were supposed to enhance the battle mechanics of the game, but in reality, by doing this, they actually made it a lot more confusing, and players still have trouble with these cards right up till today. So I'm going to tell you a bit about them. So before Blaze of Glory came out in 1999 and introduced us to tactic cards in the Battle Bridge side deck, battles in the Star Trek card game were simplistic, yet pretty fun. The attacking ship would use its weapons against the opponent's shields, and if the weapons were greater than the shields, it would be considered a direct hit. If they were double the shields of the defender, the ship would be destroyed and taken out of play. You could use multiple ships to gang up on one, or you can have even battles. The sky was pretty much the limit, or so we thought. When Blaze of Glory came out, it gave us the Battle Bridge side deck by using this doorway, which is the Battle Bridge side door, where all your tactic cards will sit in your side deck. Now, unlike the Q's Tent side deck, where you can pretty much have any card, Battle Bridge is limited to tactics. The problem with the tactics was they introduced a lot of elements and more things that you had to keep in mind while you were playing. So not only do you have attack and defense bonuses, say +1, +2, +3, and that being the attack bonus you would add to your weapons if you're the attacker, or the defense bonus you would add to the shields if you were a defender. There were also side effects like casualties. So for example, randomly kills one personnel, randomly kills one engineer, astrophysics, or physics. Weapons enhancements offline. So if somebody target your weapons with this tactic card, if you were playing the captain's log or another card that would enhance weapons, those would be gone for a period of time or possibly forever. And this is why it got very confusing. And you had other cards, Plasma Energy Burst, EM Burst. Until the end of your next full turn, weapons disabled and all engineer classification personnel are stopped. So it would add new dynamics to the battle sequence, but it would also be very confusing because you had to pay attention to the damage markers while you were using these cards from your side deck. And like some of them were immediate, the effects. One-time effects, like I mentioned, killing crew members or disabling weapons or even warp core breaches. And most damage markers also specify reductions to hull integrity. So now you have to take that into consideration, that if your hull integrity got down to 0%, your ship would be destroyed. And you'd see those on the bottom corners of the cards. Hull minus 30%, hull minus 30%, hull minus 40%, which was weird for a Crimson Force field, but you get the idea where this was going. Or you'd have simplistic cards, shields minus 2. So that would be the defender's shields would be -2 instantly, or the defender's weapons would be -2. And all this was done to enhance the battle, but in my opinion, and I've talked with a lot of other players and played with a lot of players, it added too many elements to the battle sequence and put too much focus on battle. It's one thing to enhance the battle, and Blaze of Glory had a lot of good cards that enhanced the battle sequence, but it also made a mess of it by adding all this into the game. So in the process of trying to complete a mission after doing the dilemmas, if you were fighting an opponent at that location, ship to ship, the game just got really long. And that's fine to a certain extent, but when you're spending all your time doing battles with tactic cards and nothing else, it takes away from the game. Now, if you remember from a previous episode, I mentioned how imperative it is to keep rules supplements and guidebooks for a CCG. And what happened was, because the Blaze of Glory expansion with the tactic cards had so many different nuances and new problems to consider while playing the game, I kept my Blaze of Glory rule supplement. It's one of the few that I've kept over the years because it is one of the most confusing things to happen to the Star Trek CCG, and it's important that you have something like this to fall back on. Even as experienced And as a long-term player like me that's been playing since the start, it's good to have this, and it helps explain what to do if you get in a pinch. I don't use tactic cards a whole lot, if any, but you never know. Have a great day, everybody.